What's the freakiest thing you've done in bed? My wife and I occasionally sleep naked. That's not the freaky thing, but it will become important later. I woke up one morning to find myself covered in random brown streaks. Legs, arms, and a big spot on my stomach. I looked over at my wife and said, "What the hell happened?" as I noticed her whole back and arms were also covered. Turns out, she was eating chocolate chips in the bed, forgot them, and the bag spilled open and melted between us while we slept. We laughed it off, but was definitely a terrifying thing to wake up to. I was dating a sweet nerd at the time, and the subject of porn he used to watch when he was young came up, and he had a whole thing for the whole succubus hentai thing. So I tied him down without explaining too much, and then I basically kept him there for the day, getting him off repeatedly, then feeding and tending to him, and then just getting him off again. He couldn't help but get hard every time I used my mouth, so our final count was 22 times over 10 hours. I wonder if there still goes on Reddit. 3. Definitely public sex at places just out of sight. I had to pull off on a pretty large highway, a scenic overview with a small wall where you can see the valley and mountains for miles. I had sex on the other side of the wall, where if someone stopped to enjoy the view we would have gotten caught. It was in the evening, though, and nobody stopped. I just get a big smile when I drive past it though. There was this one time I laid down and blacked out to have a diabetic seizure. My roommate noticed and called for paramedics. I distinctly remember trying to thrash around to grasp something to pull myself up. To everyone else though, it just looked like I was wildly punching myself in the dick. Also, I am told I kicked a police officer several times during that seizure. My first time was with a friend while my partner at the time handcuffed me to a bed and watched from across the room. I was in high school, on a marching band trip. We were in the cabins of a campground, Camp James, and for any of the real ones out there, and the walls were thin. We were walked in on and it was awkward. My wife likes it when I eat her out from behind, and last night for some reason I started licking her asshole, which she responded very positively to, which turned me on, and I proceeded to eat her asshole out for like 5 minutes. It was a first for both of us. Pretty tame, but I would have to say probably eating my girlfriend's bull's cum out of her pussy. At the time I didn't even know that she had just fucked him. I just thought she was super wet and creamy. Also the time a stripper titty fucked me in the private lap dance room while my girlfriend masturbated to it. I don't really do much freaky stuff outside of FFM and relatively conventional butt stuff, but once one of those crazy sex things from a list on the internet happened to me completely by accident. I'd had to look it up. It's called an angry dragon. Girl I was hooking up with started her period before our date. I wrapped a towel around my chin and grabbed a lightsaber she had on her wall like a staff. I spread her legs and yelled, "Let my people go," before diving face first into her Red Sea. I dated this really nasty freak. She was like, "Oh yeah, let's do it. I'm so nasty." And I'd be nailing her. She'd be like, "Oh, you're nailing me. Me so horny. Me love you long time." I grabbed her breasts, and they were like bags of sand. Passed out on the job with a girl I had been seeing for a few weeks, missionary position. It's no excuse, but to be fair, it was my 22nd birthday, I'd been bought a lot of drinks that night, and my dad had died 2 days prior. I fell asleep with my jeans on at age 33 and woke up like I was in a fucking other dimension. Just wow, what bed is this? Is this my house? Why am I covered in drool? Either I became a werewolf or was in a light coma. I was having my bi-awakening, and I was going a bit crazy as the divorce process was going on. I dealt with it by having my first experience with a guy be a threesome with a gay couple. I was in between them. As a child, whenever I had a fever, I would always have a nightmare about fire and some big dark thing. At the same time, I would look completely possessed as I would walk in my sleep, smiley face. It wasn't in bed, but instead outside a bar up against the side wall. I fucked this girl I had just met there in the ass while people walked by. We were definitely seen using bondage to completely immobilize my submissive friend, whilst using him for my own pleasure and tormenting him. Impact play on the same friend and some pegging. I ate a whole cake in bed the other day while watching the extended cut of the Two Towers. Sadly, these days as a single gent, that's about as kinky as I get. Banged as soon as we woke up, and when I was coming to breathe her morning breather right into my nose, I came so hard. Not my proudest fuck, but I liked it. Did a double penetration on a non-binary with a black transvestite that was getting fucked in the ass by a FTM with a strap on while 3-5 other people watched. Sex in public, while others were around and didn't know. Like in a Pullman day. and at my cousin's confirmation party in the stairwell of a building, had a FMF threesome with a bi-lesbian couple. Stipulation to it happening is I had to let the lesbian of the couple peg me. 1510 would do it again. There was that time I told a priest that his mother sucks cocks in hell after I spit pea soup in his face. I don't know what got into me that week. A foursome in my late teens. It was fun and memorable, but more like partner swapping and just having sex next to another pair than anything else. Let a sorority girl handcuff me to the bed, knowing she didn't have the key. Her sisters cut me out with bolt cutters later that evening. Other than going to an orgy, I tied up my BF and his friend fucked me doggy over him. It was a whole thing, but everyone loved it. While masturbating I had a super intense orgasm. I thought everything was fine, but when I looked down I realized I pooped the bed. DP with my so and a French guy, and then DP with the younger guy and my so. Came on the young guy's dick at our first meeting. 1010. A Tinder match told me to come on her feet, then she licked and sucked it off her toes. I still don't know how I feel about it. I drank a bottle of champagne, and then I pissed back into the bottle using a funnel, obviously, and the guy drank it. With all these horrifying comments, the freakiest thing I can think of is simply sleeping. And thus, Loogie ponders, twisted my leg at an almost 360 angle. If I had to guess, maybe 350? All I know is that I will never do it again. Put a champagne cork in my bum and farted it out for my ex-wife's amusement, but I shit the bed and then cried. Foursome with about 25 people watching. Technically it wasn't in bed. Kind of a sofa thing. But I digress. Once held an empty gun to the back of my ex's head during doggy style. She wasn't right, but I was game. Tongue punched her in the fart box. She liked it, but said it gave her anxiety about the repercussions. I took one sock off and I also let my leg hang out from the bed where the monster could catch me. Devilish face. Here we go, another Reddit horny post. Geez, I just can't get off. Let's see if Reddit can help. Slept the whole night through. It's abnormal and obscene to think I'd ever manage this feat again. One time I went to sleep, woke up and couldn't move while some nightmare creature stared at me. Stuck my thumb in her ass and doggy, then she shit all over my hand and I threw up on her back. Slept for a whole 8 hours uninterrupted. I still fantasize about this all the time. Rolled over and woke up a complete stranger and wasn't there when I went to sleep. Dressed up as a vampire and hid under the sheets waiting for my wife to come home. Got peed on while she was on top and I finished in her while bounding up and down. Slept on the mattress without putting down sheets and used an uncovered duvet. Have her sister joined, they were weirdly close, figured out that day how close. Ate a full Indian takeout. Curries, rice, naan, side orders and poppadoms. Eating on my side so my side doesn't have crumbs but his side does. LMFAO. Got a BJ from the back. Then she proceeded to eat my ass. Weird feeling. When I was 21 I got Eiffel Towered by two guys, both were 35-45 years old. Hardest sneezing fit while eating, not stop laughing after. I put my finger halfway up a dude's butthole. And that was enough. Put my tongue straight in this girl's asshole, before she showered. 2 girls at one time. Didn't even cost me $1 million. Stuck me leg out of the bed. Wait for it. While sleeping, an ex and I swapped with another couple we met on Facebook. If you mean sex, my freakiest encounters weren't on a bed. Ate an entire box of Wheat Thins and can of easy cheese. Loved and accepted myself for who I am. Then I woke up, come from butt stuff without touching my dick at all. I woke up hungover, face planted into half a pizza.